guys, welcome back to the channel. It's December 10th, 2020, and this is the Flight Sim News. First up is a pretty cool video I happened upon over at the Red Flag YouTube channel, and it's the DCS F14B Takeoff Supercarrier tutorial. And it's basically the super easy tutorial, they call it. About 5 minutes long, and I have to admit this really is the Supercarrier easy tutorial, especially if you're just getting into the F-14. Kind of remembering some of these things and what to do can be a pain in the ass, and this is probably one of the better tutorials that I've seen in a while. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alright, next up is TJ3 Gaming, and I've covered some of the videos they've done before, and they were really good. And they do this kind of historical thing. And this one is two P-40s that defended Pearl Harbor. It's about 10 minutes long, and it's pretty freaking awesome. They use IL-2 basically to film it all, and then throw in the details and overlays there in text telling you, hey, this is this, that's that. And I like the historical background that they give you at the beginning there. It's really cool. It really sets the stage rather well. It's another fantastic video from these guys. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alright, next up is Project Wingman. They've released update 1.0.3, and then it says 1.0.4c. Don't really understand that, you know, what they're doing there. Why is just not 1.04c then? Anyways, they've added a bunch of fixes and improvements, but sadly I still cannot get the game running. They were kind enough to give me a copy to look at, and for the life of me I cannot get it running, and I'm kind of bummed because I know other people said that they're playing it and it's fun and it's enjoyable, it looks great in all the videos and screenshots that I've seen, but if I choose Oculus, if I choose Steam, or if I choose just to run it in 2D, outside of that, it will not launch for me through Steam no matter what I do. And I have no problem with any other games that I have in Steam. So they're working on updates, and they have told me that, you know, my case seems to be kind of unique, but, you know, I have a real high-end system. I really, you know, think that they've got their work cut out for them. But I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Now, here's an interesting video. This is the VR flight sim guy again, and he's done a bunch of pretty cool videos. And this one is utilizing a Spitfire controller, so that's kind of interesting. And they're using Flight Simulator instead of like DCS or IL-2.
Hello folks, welcome to another video on the channel. This one being a very, very exciting one. And one that I think could pose as the future for flight controls, particularly for VR as well. Trust me guys, you want to watch this one. This is really, really exciting. It's just no play in the axis at all. That's really nice. I've also set my parking brake as well, which is that one there, which is exactly like in the real thing. I love it. As for the throttle quadrant, well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to use my CH Eclipse yoke for the time being because I don't have anything else. And I've got my Cytec trim wheel. I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera. This is fantastic fun. And the aircraft feels, in terms of the flight dynamics, spot on. I've flown the A2A Spitfire and the real air simulation Spitfire, and this feels on par with theirs, without a doubt.
The video is almost 20 minutes long. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alright, next up, Elmo over at Razbam, who is the community manager, has made a post the other day, and it goes to talk about, hey, you know what, there's probably not going to be any major things, you know, announced in terms of anything new being released, but here's what we're doing. So as of today, these are the fixes that have been submitted to Eagle Dynamics and are currently undergoing testing in closed beta. There's a rather long changelog for the AV8BNA. And then there's a rather long list of stuff for the Mirage 2000C. Some of the stuff is kind of the things you would expect, you know, like adding the F14A to the RWR library, to the RDI library, a variety of bug fixes, a fix for the external 3D model, etc., etc. And then he goes on to say, included with this post and attached is a description of the TOT and TTT for the Harrier, a new feature which will eventually be added to all of our modules, either as rudimentary system or integrated with the nav system. While we might not all get to spend time with our families this year, our thoughts and prayers are with you all. We're a family here, so make sure to check in with your wing and make sure everybody is okay. Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year to you all. Stay on top of 2021. Stay on its 6 and Fox 2. And there's a PDF attached to this that you can check out. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alright, AOA Simulations are still working on that F-22. It's looking pretty freaking cool. I just wish this was something that was going to be put into DCS. And I believe they're working on this for like X-Plane. I could be wrong. I reported on this a few different news videos back, and I'm pretty sure it was either X-Plane or Flight Simulator, but, you know, unless I can kill things with it, I'm not super excited about it. But wow, it does look beautiful, doesn't it? I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alright, Greg over at Reflected Simulations has done something pretty cool. But Greg over at Reflected Simulations does something pretty cool all the time. This one is the 80s Feel Good Mixtape that he's made. And he says, replace your Meteor cassette with my ultimate 1980s Feel Good Mixtape in the Tomcat's Walkman. And if we click the link, now that we're over at the Eagle Dynamics forum, it basically tells you how to back up your contents, then replace the files with the one in this mod. And I have to admit, it is a pretty cool 80s mixtape. You've got Kickstart My Heart from Motley Crue, Van Halen's Jump, Give Me All Your Lovin' from ZZ Top, Nothing But a Good Time from Poison, Paradise City from Guns N' Roses, I Want It All from Queen, highly underrated song, really cool stuff, Dead or Alive, You Spin Me Round, Lou Gramm, Angel with a Dirty Face, Scorpions, Big City Nights, and Bruce Springsteen's Dancing in the Dark. So if you want to get more of an 80s vibe going on with, authentic 80s music in your Tomcat, then hey, this is probably something to check out. And a big thanks to Greg over at Reflected Simulations for putting it all together. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. All right, lastly is kind of a tribute to Chuck Yeager, who passed away the other day. A lot of us pretty much cut our teeth on flight sims with Chuck Yeager's AirCombat. And I found this page over at My Abandonware where you can download it or even play it in your browser. Chuck Yeager's AirCombat was a really, really cool sim. It was so long ago, but it's pretty much what all other flight sims, after it tried to model themselves after, if that makes any sense. It was the standard at the time. And the funny thing is, and most people may not know this, but you see it says Chuck Yeager's AirCombat by Brent Iverson. Brent Iverson was the coder that was behind U.S. Navy fighters. I believe it was produced by Paul Grace. I don't know that Chuck Yeager's was produced by Paul Grace, but Brent Iverson was the coder behind those classics from Chuck Yeager's AirCombat through the U.S. Navy fighter. So it's a real bummer. I believe he was 97 years old, but you know what? At 97, I think the guy lived a pretty good life. I remember seeing just a few years back where like the Air Force took him up in an F-15 at like 80-some years old, like in his late 80s. If not even early 90s, and really like was able to withstand the G's. So this dude was tough as nails, and he was a pioneer in aviation in general. Here's the Chuck Yeager, guys. So that's it for the Flight Sim news. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button, and until next time, guys.